Twins pitching weighs down the Cubs lineup. Second straight night. Final score tonight in game 2. 4-2. Full deep dive coming up next. Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast. Your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on back in the lab? Back at it. Not the Twins postcast right here. Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Main man with me. Sweet Lou Hennessy. Give him a follow on X. At Sweet Lou MN. Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. Lou, just off the top here. Byron Buxton, team MVP, all-star bound, first inning, kicks off the game, takes that 98-mile-an-hour fastball off his left hand. He stayed in the game initially, then he gets yanked. Any updates at all? X-rays, anything? And also, too, I guess, just knowing what you know about Byron Buxton and injuries, any chance we don't see him until the Twins come back from the all-star break, perhaps?
You know, we don't know for sure. The imaging came back. It looked like negative on anything sort of fracture-wise. So I'm sure it was painful. I mean, there's no way to get hit there and not be just absolutely, But luckily, there's no structural damage, no bones broken, at least as far as the imaging tonight showed. You could even see, they were squeezing his hand. They were kind of stretching out some fingers. They wouldn't do that, I don't think, if they were at risk of, a broken bone in there. But anyway, he came out of the game, I think, mostly for precautionary reasons, not just because he's an incredible player and they want him in as much as possible, but because of all the festivities coming next week. They owe it to him, and thank goodness the team had a lead at that time.
Well said there. I guess it's just kind of a waiting game till tomorrow. Early game, by the way, 12:10 first pitch. We'll talk about that in segment 3. Lots to get into. Twins with another strong team victory, top to bottom. Our game MVP, biggest turning point. But first, quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. A quick little recap if you missed it. Twins Cubbies game 2, smack dab right in the middle of this 9-game homestand here. Twins for the second night in a row jump out of that early 2-0 lead. Jeffers knocks in Buxton. Correa knocks in Jeffers. Wallner hits a home run to right field. That makes it 3-0. Cubs come right back. 2 of their own in the following inning. Next inning, I want to say bottom 4. Yeah, bottom 4th. Twins at a much needed at the time insurance run. Royce Lewis scores there. Bring in the relievers. Ring them up, sit them down. 5 innings of just shutout baseball for the relievers tonight. Love to see that. 4-2, that was your final. 45-47 now on the year, 2 games below 500. What stuck out? Biggest takeaways, kind of your 8 topics from tonight's game.
The pitching absolutely kept their composure all night long. David Festa, 5 1/3 innings. You'll gladly take that from somebody at the back end of the rotation there. He was only at 70 pitches, I think, when he came out. 72 pitches looks like. They're not going off pitch count anymore, but it does show you that as he grows, as he continues to develop and learn how to get outs in the major league level, you could see him start going longer. You know what I mean? He's still such a young arm and still such a raw product that I'm sure that with him and with guys like Simeon Woods Richardson, they're going to be a little bit careful when it comes to their workload. But as they keep progressing, the hope is going to be that they can go longer in games.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, Sweet Lou. Always love when it's not just the obvious topic choice here. Tonight's game MVP after the Twins beat the Cubs in game 2, 4-2. Who was it and why?
Yeah. I almost wanted to throw you a curveball and give it to somebody who didn't even play tonight, and I wanted to give it to Joe Ryan with some of the exciting news that came out. But for the sake of the exercise, you know what? I'm going to give it to Mr. Matt Wallner. That home run that he hit was so impressive. He absolutely walloped that thing. I think it said 390, but it looked a lot further to me just with how high he hit that thing in the air. I'm going to go with Matt Wallner, but honorable mention to Mr. David Festa too, for sure.
Love that.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
You might go back to the same well here. Tonight's biggest turning point, when was it and why? Lay it on us.
So, David Festa came out of the game not unscathed by any means. He allowed a couple earned runs. He really only ran into trouble in that one inning. And I think the biggest turning point was that he was able to leave that inning with the lead intact. That's something that you're really going to want from guys like David Festa, who are still trying to kind of dig their heels into a role on the major league level. So this showed a lot of gumption from the young righty. And I think the turning point was when he was still able to give his team a lead and get them back in the bat rack.
No blow up innings, no crooked numbers. That seems to be kind of the goal, the topics. But Festa, SWR, even Chris Paddock, we'll talk about him.
Yeah.
He's on the mound. He's on the slate for tomorrow. Again, 12:10. Catch that in segment 3. But plenty more deep dive. I want to ask you, top 10 Twins prospects as we near the All-Star break. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel's giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Why I love FanDuel? When you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you go check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Plus, you know, some MLB future action if you dare. Twins plus 700 right now to win the AL Central. It's all setting up, though, over at FanDuel.com. Check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, so we're almost to the All-Star break. I just want a quick, rapid-fire, kind of 20 seconds on each guy. It's been a while, and I know the top, like a lot of Twins fans, I know the top 4 or 5 guys like the back of my hand, but the Twins' top 10 prospects right now. Let's start at number 10. I think that's where I think a lot of people listening are going to have the most takeaways, that 6 through 10-ish. Let's start at 10, work our way down.
So number 10 for my list, I have Mr. Andrew Morris. He's a starting pitcher already at the AAA level. If he was having a little bit better of a campaign, I wouldn't have been surprised to see him at the big league level already this season. But he's had kind of a little bit of a roller coaster season. He's starting to turn things on a little bit until he got injured recently. But I think he's going to be a major leaguer at some point, whether down the road this season and maybe a September call-up role or next year possibly. Number 9, I have Marco Raya, also at the AAA level, a little bit younger of a product. I think he's just 22 years old. He's been on one of these really conservative kind of inning limits every year, but he had a terrible start to this season, but he's really starting to turn things around recently. So he gets my number 9 spot. Number 8, I have Gabby Gonzalez, who is kind of the big prospect.
I've been hearing some things. I've been hearing stock up for Gabby Gonzalez.
Yep. Gabby came over in the Jorge Polanco trade. So he was at AA last year and just maybe he was at high A last year and did not seem to impress very much. But this year he has absolutely tore that league up and he is looking like a blue chipper himself. Number
21 years old, left field, outfield kind of guy, right? Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Outfielder. I don't know if he has a super strong defensive future necessarily in the cards for him, but his bat is looking pretty strong. So after that, I have number 7, and that is Charlie Soto, another very young product, a supplemental first-round pick or second-round pick from a couple years ago. Really big kid, raw stuff. It might be a few years for him, but he's going to be exciting. Number 6, I have a lot.
Soto, by the way, got drafted at 17, I want to say. I mean,
yes, he was very
young. It's been a couple years, and he's still only 19 years old. That obviously speaks volumes. And again, to your point, a ways away, but just a big ball of just absolute, just kind of, I mean, really, when you think about it, I remember when he got drafted to late first round, like you said, with that extra first round pick, just a ball of unique talent that just needs to be developed. Didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No. No, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? A healthy farm system has guys like that, these really high upside teenagers that
Yeah.
you're probably not going to see at the big league level for a few years, and some talent that's maybe in the near future. Number 6, I have a lot higher. I have a lot higher than a lot of lists do. I have Mr. Brandon Winokur. He's a really tall, lanky shortstop outfielder with really good speed and really raw power himself. He's got a little bit of swing and miss to his swing, but I think if he can reel that in a little bit, he's going to be a very exciting product. He is at the high A level, and I think he's ascending. Now we're on to the top 5. I have Connor Prelup, the lefty. I would not be surprised to see him in the Twins bullpen come August or September. He is if he hopefully he can stay healthy first and foremost, no matter what happens. But if that does happen, they might say, hey, we want to use these bullets where it matters. We don't need him. He's shown us all he needs to show us in the minor leagues. I'm not sure he's at that point at this, this exact moment, but I could see, it'd be in a conversation come August or September, especially if they need a left-handed high octane.
Probably the oldest, I believe, too, of all these top 10s you're going to rip off here, 24 years old as well. So seems to be the guy next in line as far as just kind of being primed and ready from an age perspective, too. So that makes sense. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. Number 4, I have Kalen Culpepper, their first pick from last year, who is selected to the Futures game. Really good for him. He's having an awesome year himself. He's made it all the way up to Double-A so far. I think that he's getting some national love, too, on a few lists, kind of back-end top 100. That's a very valuable for somebody who was taken in the mid to late of first round last year. So we'll take that from Mr. Kalen Culpepper. Number 3, Emmanuel Rodriguez just recently came back off of the injured list and immediately hit a home run. He's knocking on the doorstep here, but he's really going to need to get his feet wet before he can actually make some noise and be part of the conversation at the big leagues. Number 2, Luke Keeschel. Everybody's really excited for him to get back in action. He faced Zebby Matthews in kind of a little bit of a rehab outing yesterday, or a live BP outing. So really good to see him taking some hacks again. Hopefully he can get on a rehab assignment soon and rejoin the team. And I know he was only up here for 5, 6, 7 days, but he looked just so good. He looked just so excited.
Spark plug, man. Just a spark plug.
Absolutely. So, and if he can be that coming back, that'll be a huge boost for this team. And of course, I have Walker Jenkins, number 1, hoping to get a little bit of a runway on his season here, and he can keep propelling forward as a global top 15 prospect or so.
Couple quick questions. Love the list, first of all, especially because I made you do this about 17 minutes ago. So fantastic work. Let's start where you ended off. Walker Jenkins. Obviously, it's still so early to tell, but I'm going to put you on the spot. What is his kind of ceiling if it all pans out? Like what kind of guy stylistically, again, ceiling-wise, when you talk about some of the better players in the league the last 5, 10, 15 years, who does he remind you of, and how good could this guy really be?
Well, look, if you're talking somebody like Walker Jenkins, 100th percentile outcome, that's like a MVP caliber player. I'm not ready to say that he's ready for that, but that's, if everything goes really right for him, that's what we're talking about on a talent basis here.
And why? Because of the power, the 5 tools, the speed, the defense. What is it exactly?
Definitely the bat for sure. I'm not sure if defense is going to be his calling card, but he's going to be good enough. That's like, this middle of the order, number 3 cleanup hitter bat, maybe even, having him stashed in right field or left field. He's very projectable size right now. I think he's going to do some filling out and really add to that power total, but he's got great BP power, just raw power right now. And if he can get some more of that in the games, he's going to be, one of the best prospects in baseball. And he's already near the top of the list there.
Love that. Yeah. Second thing, you mentioned you got guys like Brandon Winokur, a little bit higher than most, Gabby Gonzalez, perhaps. Who's a guy that maybe didn't make your top 10, didn't make your cut, that you see often in a lot of other, whether it's Twins Daily, Surface Fans Twins, whatever it may be, didn't make your cut that you find or see in that top 10 more often than not?
That's a good question. The Twins have a few kind of former top international prospect signees that they've had, guys like Yasser Mercedes. He's still exciting and still young enough himself. He just hasn't had some of those loud campaigns that some of these other top 10 guys have had. But I could see him probably landing somewhere in my 15 to 20 range of my list, but I've seen him anywhere in creeping up near the top 10 for other lists for the Twins.
Love that. Last one here real quick. When you look at that top 10, even the top 15-ish for that matter, how do you feel about the Twins just overall top 10, top 15 compared to some other teams? Weaknesses, strengths? Do you like, obviously I'm sure almost every farm system tries to just pepper in those pitchers as much as they can. What do you think about the strengths and weaknesses right now?
I love that some of their lottery ticket guys, some of these young guys are near the top of the list, but then they have some MLB ready guys who are also just super exciting, or near MLB ready, I should say, guys at the AA and AAA level, which is you're one phone call away from coming up to the big leagues and, seeing what happens. So I think it's a good mix of young and near MLB ready talent. And I think that they're going to supplement this top 10 group with hopefully somebody with their first pick. I think that'd be pretty exciting.
Always helps when you got just a stud at the top, too, like a Jenkins, right? Too.
Yes.
Just makes everything else just feel a little bit more easy breezy, not quite as much pressure. Don't go anywhere. Preview Game 3 versus the Cubs. Looking for the sweep, by the way. Chris Paddock on the mound. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, now with more than 10 million members today. For me and my money, it's the easiest, most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports, you watch your favorite players. So simple. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats, watch the winnings roll in, strikeouts, RBIs, stolen bases, home runs, base hits, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, trying to bust out the brooms. Game 3 tomorrow. Chris Paddock back on the mound. Potentially no Buxton, not just tomorrow. Maybe they hold him out. There's only, 4? I want to say 4 more games until the All-Star break. We'll see. If that is the case, though, let's just glass half empty, worst case. Who's got to step up the most? What's the Rocco lineup shuffle look like, I guess, in center field and in the lineup at the top as well?
Yeah, you're right, because Byron Buxton has been cemented in that leadoff hole, it seems like, for most of the season here. If I wouldn't be surprised if he's out tomorrow. I really want to see him back on Friday for Joe Ryan versus Paul Skeens at Target Field. That would be very, very exciting. But who else would need to step up? You're talking about somebody having to step up in the corner outfield, because Harrison Bader would probably move to center field.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking either Willie Castro, Trevor Larnach, Matt Wallner. I doubt Deshaun Kersey would get a start, but he might get a little bit more playing time later on in the game. So those guys are going to have to step up if Byron's gone for a few games here.
Great stuff, as always. Twins pitching anchors down the Cubs again. Game 2, 4-2. That's your final. 45-47 now on the year. 2 games below 500. Huge shout out, all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Check out all of Lou's work on X at SweetLouMN. Plus all the work he's always ripping up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com as well. Luke Imman on X, at Luke_Spinman. Again, Game 3 tomorrow, trying to bust out the brooms. Chris Paddock on the mound. Catch you right here. Same time, same place. Until then, signing.